Hello, challengers. Happy to see you here again, focusing on your career and making sure you build a long-term strategy for continuous growth as a Java developer. And this is something that we usually don't do. We don't plan our career and we just, sometimes we go from jobs to jobs and we don't even know what to learn. So there are lots of issues in our careers that we need to work on. And only by building a long-term strategy for continuous growth will solve the vast majority of your problems. Because only by knowing your next step, we're going to know what you study, you're going to know what you focus on. So it definitely helps a lot. So let's talk about some strategies so that you can build this long-term strategy so that you build a solid career as a Java developer. So let's start from the pillar of communication and leadership. So as developers, we can't stop on coding. We have to go beyond code to grow in our careers. And if you use a lot the word I think, you're gonna look like as a developer who is not confident to talk about your ideas. And, if you want to influence your team to use a specific technology, you need to sound confident. And sometimes if you just change the way you speak, you're going to sound more confident. So instead of saying, I think, you can say based on data X, data whatever, and then you can come up with your point. A great way to grow as a senior software engineer is to mentor junior developers. And sometimes you can even mentor developers from your level, as long as you have different knowledge from them. So sometimes you know more about Kafka, for example, and you can mentor developers who are as experienced as you. So by doing this exercise of mentoring other developers, you help them grow in their careers faster, and you also grow as a developer, as a senior developer, because the companies really want a senior developer or even intermediate developer who knows how to teach and mentor other developers. So, and you becoming a mentor in your team, you become a reference. And this is very valuable because then you become a knowledge multiplier and you become a developer who can help others to evolve. And if you help other developers to evolve and get better as software engineers, the project will also get better. So that's how worth it. And, one other thing you can do is to document best practices so that you create a standard so that developers start creating better code. And with better code, you're going to have fewer bugs and your life will be a lot easier. It's very important that you learn how to negotiate. A mentee of mine, he was going through a lot of trouble with the negotiation. And not only him, like I've been in lots of tough situations as well, where negotiation was a key skill to have. And sometimes the thing is that you're going to have a difficult project. And if you don't know how to negotiate deadlines, you're going to lose. Oh, why, Rafael? It's because, for example, if you get a very complicated project to deliver in your company, your manager will tell you, hey, I need you to deliver that thing in 1 month. And if you know that you can't deliver that in 1 month, you have to tell them right away. You have to tell, hey, like this won't be possible. And you have to negotiate a middle ground solution that works for you and for your manager. Because the worst thing you can do is to say, hey, okay, I can do it. And then you work overtime, you go through a lot of stress, and then in the end, you can't deliver. What do you think is going to happen in this situation? It's going to look really bad for you. It's going to be bad for everyone. So it's a lot better to tell your manager up front and say, hey, in 1 month, it will be impossible to deliver that because of this data, because, I don't know, you have to prove that it can't be done. So not because you're lazy, it's not because you can't do it, it's because it's impossible. So you show real data, you show something reasonable to your manager, and negotiate a new deadline. Because if you don't do that, the bomb will explode in your hands, and it's going to be really bad. So negotiation is a skill that is underrated, and they don't teach on college, they don't teach Like it's something that you don't see anywhere, right? You don't know how to negotiate. And if you negotiate well, it will save you so much trouble. And the more senior you become, the more this skill is important, because you're going to have to deal with deadlines. You're going to have to negotiate deadlines. You're going to have to come up with good arguments so that you can make this new deadline possible. And obviously, like with a negotiation, diplomacy is there as well, right? So it needs to be diplomatic. You can't curse your manager, and you can't be like not polite. Like, so you have to be polite and firm, right? So you need to say, okay, like this thing, like I did a research here, I deliver around 13 complex points every sprint, but what you are asking me to deliver here is 100 points of complexity. So this is impossible. I won't be able to deliver 100 points in 1 month. They have to come up with data and numbers. And you have to learn how to reach the middle ground. And how can you get that? By showing real data. Language mastery. So like if you're not a native English speaker, you have to improve your English. So you have to practice your English consistently. And like if you are not very confident on stand-ups, you can take some notes on bullet points. And even if you're a native speaker, it's useful for you as well. So if you're a native speaker, write some bullet points and say, hey, okay, so those are the points that I did. And by writing some bullet points before giving your status on the stand-up meeting, you're gonna sound a lot more concise and clear. And that's good. That counts as a good communication skills. So is a worst thing when someone gives that huge status in the stand-up meeting, because no one understands anything. It's useless. So it doesn't make any sense. So in the stand-up meeting, you have to be concise and clear. And if you have any blocker, let the team know. You don't have to wait until the stand-up meeting. If you have an issue or a challenge, you can tell your team through your message app. I don't know if you use Slack or if you use Teams or whatever is the app you use to communicate with your team. Let them know before the meeting. You don't need to wait until the stand-up meeting, right? Practice technical storytelling. So you can first, you start with the context, then the challenge, and then the solution, and then the impact. So practice with this structure, because then it's going to be clear to everyone else in the meeting. And like if you want to get even sharper with that, you can even ask your manager or your tech lead to mentor you and say, hey, how can I improve my communication skills? That's totally fine. Okay, so growth system, build consistency and momentum. So every quarter, it's good that you list at least 3 technical skills, 1 soft skill, and 1 visibility goal. So it could be, for example, that you want to publish an article to boost your visibility. So when you publish an article, you improve your communication skills, and you also show other people that you know your stuff. It could be that you want to learn reactive programming or whatever technology you need. It could be AWS, could be Docker, could be Java 25, whatever you would like to learn. And you could put as a goal to mentor 1 peer, because that will help you to develop yourself as a senior software engineer. And the most powerful way to learn anything is to teach whatever you learned. So that's why I emphasize that it's so important to share your knowledge. And it could be through articles, could be through giving talks, could be through creating videos on YouTube. It's so easy nowadays, right? You can simply open Zoom and create your video, and you can publish on YouTube, or you can use OBS, whatever the app you prefer. But nowadays, it's really easy to share knowledge and help other people, right? And log everything. For example, if you're learning something, so write articles, write your learning journey, and that will help you to remember all of the steps. And it will also help you on your communication skills, because you're going to be organizing your content in 1 document, right? And not in 1 document, like several documents but you're going to know how to search for the information. And career diagnosis habit. And by the way, I'm offering to you guys who are highly committed, who show up here to do a free career diagnosis. At the end of this weekly live, I'm going to give you a document. And if you want to do the career diagnosis for free, you can just select yes in the form I'm gonna send in the end of this weekly live. And so you basically have to understand what are your biggest gaps, right? And you can do that with a mentor. In this case, you can do it with me. And like you have to also keep an updated progress dashboard. So if there is a way to measure your progress, that's gonna be great. And regarding balance and sustainability, so you have to also manage stress because, sometimes if you do a lot of work, you might burn out. So you have to always balance between work and like some rest. Otherwise, because you have to create a plan that's sustainable for the long term. Because it doesn't really matter. Like if you work like crazy in 1 month and then stop, it's all useless. So it's okay that you can work really hard from time to time, but if you extend working very, very hard for a long period of time, it's going to be very difficult to maintain that and you might burn out. And you can do creative breaks. Like if you have a hobby, like if you enjoy, I don't know, could be anything. Could be playing sports, could be martial arts, could be dancing, could be whatever the hobby you have, playing an instrument. And then you can take some breaks and then you can balance your technical learning so that you avoid burnout. And also doing exercises, it's really useful as well. Celebrate micro wins. Each commit, improvement, or performance fix, you celebrate, right? So you can celebrate, I don't know, like you can do a treat for yourself. You can buy a nice food, or you can go to a nice restaurant, or you can get a massage. I don't know, whatever you want as a treat. Celebrate micro wins, right? Because you're advancing. So basically, when you do something that's hard and you know that you worked really hard, there is no harm on giving yourself a reward, right? And this is something that is written in the book about habits, atomic habits. So basically you create a habit when you make it easy to do and when you reward yourself. And it could be something very simple, like a meal that you like. Could be a good reward. And regarding technical mastery, keep your skills future-proof. And like, how can you do that? Well, obviously, as a Java developer, you have to master Java. So you need to master the syntax evolution. And the good news is that, like, if you mastered Java 11, it's going to be a lot easier to master Java 25 because if you see Java 25, it's not as different as it was like from Java 7 to Java 8. Like from Java 7 to Java 8, the difference was enormous. But if you see the difference between Java 11 and Java 25, it's not that different actually. You should know about collections, concurrency, JVM, performance tuning. All of those concepts will help you so that you become a solid senior software engineer. And the other thing, like to learn faster and to become a better software engineer, is to learn fundamentals. So don't focus only on Java. Go before that, which is like learning algorithms, learning system design, because when you learn those fundamentals, it's going to be a lot easier to master the tools. Because if you see, Java is a tool that implements the fundamentals, and it's going to be the same. Like every tool you work with, they are implementing fundamentals. So, practice system design case studies monthly, and you can do that in interviews, in mock interviews. And by the way, my mentees, they do those mock interviews and they are improving their skills. And, you can learn about Docker, CI/CD, observability tools, cloud deployments. And one way to improve those skills is to learn more about AWS. So create your personal project and deploy applications and, run your own tests. Separate some time every day so that you can focus on building up your skills. System design and scalability. So you have to learn about APIs, caching, queues, load balancing, and about tooling. So like I said, like Docker CI/CD, it's very important. And you have to understand, you have to shift from the developer mindset to the end-to-end software engineer mindset. And what is that? So a software engineer is a strong problem solver. So as a software engineer, you're going to be solving complex problems. And like I said, I said many times, on those lives that the programmer profession is dead. And even before AI, it was dead. Because with microservices, we needed to learn things just in time. Now with AI, programming is not that important anymore. So remembering the syntax, not that important anymore. What you need to be nowadays is a faster learner, and you need to be a strong problem solver. That's what the market wants. And you need to have continuous learning loop. It's important that you have daily micro learning habits so that you write your blog posts, you read blog posts, or you listen to podcasts, create a mini project, anything that will get your skills going and anything that will get your skills improving. And monthly, you can focus on a topic that is, that you have a gap. So for example, if you have a gap in performance, concurrency, cloud, or security, create a plan. And it could be a mini project. It could be a contribution to open source. And open source is really great. If you contribute to open source, it will also give you a lot of visibility and it's going to help you to get the best jobs. Okay, since we talked about career positioning and visibility, it's important that you know how to connect with the right people for your career. So like connect with developers who are motivated like you, who are learning different things, with recruiters, tech leads. They will help you to get the job you want. Because, recruiters are looking for developers. And if you are committed, they want you to provide value to the company. They want you to be a software developer. And on LinkedIn, like there is no problem if you send a connection request to developers, to Java developers or recruiters, because they're looking for developers, right? And I also highly recommend you to join a Java user group. So I don't know if you have a Java user group close to your place, but if you have a Java user group close to your place, I highly recommend you to join the Java user group, connect with people, offer help. If you know speakers who can give talks in this community, in this Java user group, help the drug leader, and that will help you to build your networking. It will help you to learn more about technologies as well. So it's going to help you a lot in your career. So for example, when I arrived here in Dublin, the first thing I did was to get involved in the Dublin Java user group. It's also called as DubJug. And because I started attending the Dublin Java user group, I learned a lot about the market in Ireland. That helped me so much. And this is very strategic, right? Because you go to the Java user group, you talk to other developers, understand how is the market, so it's very nice to go to a Java user group, meet other Java developers, meet speakers, meet Java champions, and potentially even give a talk, right? So there are many opportunities that can be opened only by going to Java user group, right? And create a powerful portfolio. So use GitHub to prove that you are doing your stuff, that you are learning. Contribute to open source. Like if you want to work for the best companies, contributing to open source is a great move. And if you are getting started contributing to open source, I always recommend you to start from documentation. So start from the documentation because it's the easiest way to get your pull request merged. And the benefit of starting from documentation is that you're gonna start learning more about the project. And then once you have more trust from the developers who own the project, then it's gonna be easier to make a bigger contribution as well. also create your personal brand as a developer. So optimize your LinkedIn. That's very important. I see many developers neglecting their LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is where the action happens, is where you get the jobs, right? So every company is on LinkedIn. And if you're not, if you don't have a strong LinkedIn profile, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get a job. And also post short insights once a week, at least on LinkedIn. No, so you could share a situation you had in your job so that, something, I don't know, could be something hard you figure out, could be a performance issue, could be an SQL performance issue that you solved, could be anything. Like those experiences, those real world experiences, they are highly valuable. And I even recommend you to create articles about those experiences, because then you can share on LinkedIn, hey, this is the situation I went through in my job, and here's the article, here's how I solved it. Obviously, you don't need to share company details because probably you signed an NDA contract and you can't share any information from the company you are working for. But you can share the experience, right? You can share the experience that you can say, hey, here's what I learned with this experience, and that should be fine. International positioning. So like if you are a developer who are looking for an international job, you have to write everything in English and you have to practice English every day as it is your native language, right? So this is very important. Like you have to make English kind of like your primary language, and you have to show that you have strong enough communication skills to talk in English in a cross-cultural environment, right? And I highly recommend you, so if you are not very comfortable communicating with other cultures, I highly recommend a book called The Culture Map. And on this book, you can learn different traits from different cultures so that you understand them better, because there are cultures who are more direct, there are cultures that are not very direct, and sometimes cultures that are very direct, they might come across as unpolite, or they might come across as they don't like you, and that's not true, because in their culture, that's their way to deal with things. And if you learn more about the cultures, you're gonna be on the top of the game, right? And you're gonna know how to deal with different cultures. So this book is excellent because you learn a bit more about communication styles and cultures. And okay, so let's continue. Okay, so we explored all of those points. And regarding vision and direction, so it's important that you know the direction you're going, right? Otherwise, you're gonna go in zigzag or in circles, and that won't help you to grow. So you have to define the North Star. So for example, there are developers here who want a job abroad. There are developers here who want a job in their own country. So there are developers here who are changing careers, want to go like from one programming language to the other programming language. So I know that like there are different goals here, right? So the first thing I have to decide, okay, what is the direction I'm taking here? And then once you decide, you follow that direction. So that will impact all of your daily decisions, right? Because you don't achieve a big thing in one day. You don't achieve a big thing overnight. You have to define, okay, that's my North Star, and I'm going this direction. And then the consistency will come into play. And I talk a lot about that. Consistency is very important. So like what you do, like little small things you do every day, when doing consistently over time, they became huge achievements. So keep that in mind. This is very important. So you have to decide, okay, so if you are changing careers and you want a job with Java, man, go out in Java. If you want to become a lead, you have to understand about people. You have to understand about basic psychology. You have to understand about, architecture. So to be an architect, you have to be very strong also with people, because you're going to have to influence other people, and also have to have strong knowledge on system design. To be a principal software engineer as well, to be a global remote developer, You have to understand about different cultures. So it's important to write at least, 3 to 5 goals for the year. And, only by having an art star, it's going to be a lot easier to achieve your goals, right? Because otherwise you take random actions. Yeah, Fiznik is saying here, yeah, like doing nothing at all versus small consistent effort. Yeah. Yeah, like it changes a lot. Like by doing consistent effort, you grow exponentially. And understand the developer growth pyramid. So, like I say, if you're a senior developer, learn how to mentor other developers, help the junior developer, help the intermediate developer, help them be better developers. Because, this will help you. And also remember, I remember when I was a junior developer, so many senior developers helped me. I always had a mentor. Until nowadays, I have a mentor. I have a mentor for everything because I know this will save me so much time. So this is a mindset I adopted very early in my career, and that helped me a lot because, the mentors, they made all the mistakes we could make, and we avoid a lot of trouble by that. And, you have to understand about design, have to understand about architecture, communication. So those fundamentals, I know they are not easy, but by adopting the consistency mindset where you have a plan and you say, okay, I'm going to study those things. I'm going to do a little bit every day. And in the past, I was kind of naive thinking that, oh, I'm going to master those very difficult concepts in a few days. No, that won't happen because, those are difficult concepts to master. Like you need consistency and you need to do a little bit day by day, and then you're going to see your growth. So you have to be patient as well. So it's not only, oh, let me be consistent. There are some layers to be consistent. You have to know where you're going to. You have to also be patient. You have to have faith because to master fundamentals such as system design, architecture, communication, or algorithms, or Java, all of those concepts and technologies, it will take time. So you have to be consistent and at the same time be patient. And when you have your North Star defined and you have a plan, you are being consistent on your actions, success will come to you, right? And foundational techniques, so technical skills such as Java, Spring, and testing. So this will help you to become a better software engineer. And also benchmark your current level. Check it out what the Java market is asking for. I can tell you right away, the pattern, the standard of the market is basically Java, Spring, and AWS. And obviously, there is all the fundamentals involved. So you're going to have to go through the coding interview, system design interview, and you're going to have to know about CI/CD, observability, a little bit of security. So that's why it's important that you build this habit of being consistent as soon as possible, because the sooner you do that, the sooner you're going to be able to be on the top of the market. Because the truth is that most developers are confused. They don't know what to do. They go through the tutorial hell. They watch lots of videos. They get very confused, overwhelmed. And some of them even have a burnout because they keep on watching videos. And sometimes they create the illusion that they are creating skills, but they're actually not. If you're not creating anything with your knowledge, you're just deceiving yourself. You're just, obviously, okay, watching videos, watching this live here, obviously it's useful because it will equip you to take the right actions for your career. But my point is that you can't only watch videos. That's my point. Okay, watching videos and watching courses is good, actually. So there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is that if you deceive yourself thinking that, only by watching courses are going to be good, that won't happen. You have to write code. You have to do something with this knowledge. Could be writing code, could be writing an article, could be, taking any kind of action that will bring you real skills. Otherwise, you won't learn anything. It's going to be just a waste of time. Basically, you have to ask yourself what you should stop doing. Another villain of focus is it's our social media, right? So we receive messages all the time, receive notifications, and we get distracted. So this is very hard, right? We have nowadays we have so access to so much information, and it's so easy to learn, but at the same time, it's very hard to be focused because there are so many things going on. Like our apps are all the time beeping, and we want to check what is the newest message. We want that dopamine hit, and our brain also craves this dopamine hit, so it's tough, right? So I'm gonna share the form here where you can get this mind map. So just a moment, and I'm gonna ask you to give a feedback and let you tell me what can be improved, and you tell me what content also you want, because that helps me to plan the next weekly live. So please, if you can give me information about what you want for the next weekly lives, I will highly appreciate it. Just a moment. Yeah, just share the form, and I'm sharing the mind map with you, okay? So I'll just, at just a moment, I'll just paste the link here. Okay, great. Okay, so now when you finish answering to the form, you're gonna be able to get the mind map. And by the way, guys, do you have any questions? You can raise your hands and you can talk to me. Benjamin, Monique, nice to see you here. Ramel or Tebogo. So if you have any questions, just raise your hand and I can talk to you. And we have some time, right? We have 15 minutes. So we have 15 minutes. You have a career question, anything you've been struggling with. If you are shy, you can just write on the chat as well. It's totally fine. If you want to talk directly, just raise your hand and we can talk. You can also simply fill out the form, satisfaction form. And please let me know what are the content that is interesting to you, and I can come up with this content for you. Let me know when you finish. You can say yes. So what's your biggest struggle? Like, are you struggling with interviews? You can raise your hands. Interviews or getting a job? What you're struggling with? Come on, guys. Don't be shy. You just need to raise your hands. You don't need to turn on your camera. You just need to. There's a button here. You can just. Great. Morally struggling with interviews. What about communication? Who struggles with communication? You can raise your hand. Interviews like Java system design, algorithms, imposter syndrome. Morally, do you want to talk? Or you just raise your hand because you're struggling with interview? So if you have a question, I can unmute you and you can ask me questions. Any questions, guys? Okay, so Teboga is talking about communication. Problem solving thing. Ahmed, yeah, problem solving is very hard. Ahmed saying about problem solving. Yeah, it's because, to be a good problem solver, you need to solve many problems and be exposed to different situations. And that's why it's important to not rely only on your job. Because if you're relying only on your job, first, you're going to struggle a lot in your job. And I'd suppose that you've been working with Monolith your whole career, then you change to microservices, but you don't study anything about microservices. Whereas you have your colleagues who already worked with microservices and they will be far ahead of you. If you don't study outside of your job, every developer will be ahead of you. So, and that's not good. So to help you grow on your problem solving skills, you need to study fundamentals, like solving leet code problems. It's also a way to help you be a sharper thinker, so that you can like more quickly. And communication it's not an easy skill to develop, but one way to develop your communication skills is to write articles. You don't need to necessarily be speaking to improve your communication skills, because think about it, communication is just a way to organize the information and communicate this information to someone else so that you make it very clear. And obviously there is body language involved, there are many things behind the scenes, but basically the principles: be kind, right? Be kind to other people. At the same time, demand respect for yourself. If someone respects you, you can be upfront to them and say, hey, why did you respect me? You can confront them. Obviously, like there are many contexts, many situations, but And obviously, I won't be able to explain to you all the situations of communication in 5 minutes. But I know it's a big challenge. Yeah, communication is difficult. We're already saying struggling with interviews. Yeah, like it's very difficult. Like you need to be consistent on your algorithms and system design studies. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to pass on those interviews. So yeah, like, and please let me know what is the content you would like the most in the weekly lives, because I created the content for you, right? It's not for me. So I want to help you in your career. I want to know what are your challenges. Okay, so Dusan is saying, what would be your recommendations to go deep into one or two specialities? So I recommend Dusan you to create a personal project, because to become a jack of all trades, you need to know how to create a project, a microservice. You could create a microservice with Java, Spring, AWS, and you could use help of AI. And I also highly recommend every one of you to study algorithms and system design, because you're gonna be learning the fundamentals, and you're gonna be always also prepared for the interviews, because most of the interviews nowadays are based on that. Okay, so I'm at the same. Regarding the recommended topics that will be discussed in the future, what do you think about covering common challenges in the production system, such as database migration, scalability? Yes, those are good topics, Ahmed. Thank you so much for proposing them. Yeah, and those are big topics. Like those, like I could do easily like 20 lives or more. Like I don't maybe 100 lives about those topics. I could do lots of lives. But yeah, like scalability is a good one. Scalability is a very good topic. Yeah, like those are good suggestions. Yeah, I will come up with something on that direction. I don't know, something about system design, caching, load balancer, message broker, could be something connected to that. Or Java challenges. Been a while I don't do Java challenges, and I could bring some concepts of Java 25 here. And I could ask you guys what is the answer. I used to do that so many times. So yeah, very good, guys. So Project Loom, yeah, those are very good. So guys, thank you so much for being here and focusing on your career. And don't forget to be consistent, keep breaking your limits, break your limitations, break your limiting beliefs. Let's keep going. And I wish you a great week ahead, guys. Thank you so much for you who is watching from YouTube. And yeah, thanks. I wish you a great week ahead. And let's keep up. Let's be consistent. Let's do the things we tend to do, even when you don't feel like it. That's very important. Okay? So see you all. Cheers.